It's not really possible to talk about these mechanics without revealing some spoilers, so go experience the sacrifice for yourself first if you wish to. This is your final warning. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Behold! I already started my glorious fashion frame journey, but this is Excalibur Umbra, make no mistake, our first Umbra frame. Let's talk about what that means. Umbra frames are capable of fighting on their own when you aren't controlling them directly, so they're basically specters when you aren't inside of them. They'll use both your weapons and their frame powers while you are in your Space Kid mode. They don't use real ammo, and although they do reload, this doesn't affect your weapon's clips, so if you let them fire a few shots and then transfer back into them, you'll find your weapons fully loaded. Your Sentinel will also remain active and potentially engage in combat while your Umbra frame fights, but do note that your frame is fully vulnerable to damage while fighting on its own. That's not all that's different, but some things are mostly the same, like base stats and most abilities. This Excalibur Umbra is in many ways the same as a normal Excalibur, with only marginal statistical increases akin to a prime frame upgrade. There is, of course, the fashion frame upgrade. You cannot remove that scarf, but Excalibur Umbra, just like a prime version of a warframe, can use all of the skins that you could use on the base frame. And some abilities are slightly different. Excalibur Umbra has an upgraded Radial Blind called Radial Howl, which is like Radial Blind, but also removes sentient damage resistances, although it feels like it has a longer cast time as well. It looks something like this. The other abilities are still the same, and augments still work for all of them as well. Augments for Radial Blind will affect Radial Howl. As you can see, polarities are largely normal as well, except for these new polarities that match a new breed of set mods that we'll be talking about in a minute. What's special about these polarities is that you cannot use Forma to add more of these to frames or weapons. So to match polarity with a mod that has this polarity, you're going to need gear that natively comes with some. Excalibur Umbra here has 3, and his Exalted Blade also has 2, but they don't seem entirely exclusive to Umbra gear, since this Nikana that you receive toward the end of the sacrifice also has some. That's pretty much it for Umbra mechanics. Note that all Exalted type weapons, that is Warframe power created weapons, are now modded separately as of this update, and that's not a feature unique to Umbra. One last thing that is unique to Umbra is that unlike a prime variant of a Warframe, Umbra variants of frames have their own animation sets. On to this new type of set mod. Warframes now have new Umbral set mods, which provide bonuses similar to normal existing Warframe mods, but also have a new type of set bonus. The more Umbral mods you equip, the stronger all of them get. This is unlike previous set bonuses, which added a separate effect. These really are truly sets. The effect of each mod gets stronger with each additional mod in the set you equip. So I have 240% health from this mod at rank 5 when it's alone, and if I add another one, you can see that that benefit goes up very significantly. And if I add a third, then it goes up further still. To be clear, you can equip these on any frame, not just on Excalibur Umbra, and they do come with the frame, you don't have to farm them. They also come at rank 5, as you can see here, although that doesn't give you much of a head start since these cost the same as primed mods to rank up, and almost all of the cost of ranking up a mod comes at the final ranks. So these are ultimately versions of Intensify, Steel Fiber, and Vitality that are significantly stronger than their normal counterparts if used together, and sometimes superior even if you don't use them together, but it is worth noting that you can't overlap them. If I have Umbral Vitality, no Vitality, and you'll notice that even though it's stronger when I have the full set equipped, if I take these two mods off, it is now of comparable power. When I rank this all the way up, it will be about the same as a normal Vitality. Umbral Intensify, on the other hand, doesn't scale per level as much as a normal Intensify, without other Umbral set mods equipped. As you can see, at rank 5, it does provide less alone than a normal Intensify, and if you equipped the other Umbral set mods, it would be more. But because it is effectively a primed mod, a rank 10 mod, even alone it will be stronger than a normal Intensify as long as you rank it up all the way. This isn't entirely unusual. Primed Pistol Gambit doesn't provide the same amount of critical chance per rank as a normal Pistol Gambit, but being a rank 10 mod, it still eventually surpasses a fully ranked Pistol Gambit. You're also seeing this stat on these mods called Tau Resistance, which is damage resistance against sentience. That little symbol is the sentient faction symbol. And there's also a new melee set, which I guess we'll be calling the Sacrificial set. This works the same way as the Umbral set. Note that so far, these set mods are also different in that they don't span gear types. Umbral mods are Warframe only, Sacrificial mods are melee only, at least so far. And you can see there's a little set bonus thing at the bottom that shows there are apparently only 2 Sacrificial set mods. There were apparently only 3 Umbral set mods. Compare this to like the Augur set mods, which span both frame and secondary weapon. You'll also notice that the Sacrificial mods continue the anti-sentient theme with a damage to sentience bonus. These are, just like the Warframe mods, still kind of like different versions of existing melee mods. This is a pressure point that also gives melee damage to sentience. And here we have another interesting detail, because Sacrificial Pressure is essentially a primed mod version of Pressure Point, which we already have a primed version of. So if you rank this up all the way alone, you'll notice that it is significantly weaker than Pressure Point. It's actually weaker than Prime Pressure Point and weaker than normal Pressure Point by itself, whereas just like with Umbral Intensify, Sacrificial Steel is significantly more powerful than a normal True Steel, even alone, as long as it's fully ranked. The point I'm trying to make is that these mods are not created equal as power level is concerned. Some of them are actually worse than normal versions of mods if you do not have them in a set, whereas some are better. Very similar to set mods, not as similar to primed mods. Besides their mechanics, let's readdress that new polarity they have. Again, you cannot forma more of those onto any gear, so although you can put these new set mods on any type of gear, not just Umbra gear or gear that has their polarities innately, they will be very expensive on capacity, since they'll never be able to match any polarity on most weapons. Before these mods, it was almost always possible to put any combination of mods on any weapon if you polarized every single slot with a ton of forma, but with these new mods that may sometimes not be possible. Your capacity will hit a ceiling. And there you have it, all of the new mechanics that came with the sacrifice. Will we get more weird new set mods? Will there be different frames that get Umbra variants? Subscribe to find out, once I find out. And if I missed anything, share your information in the comments. I've been Zandy, and I hope you found this content helpful. Check out both of my channels for even more content, and I'll see you on the other side.